Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or the guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dawn Melanie. I thank you for joining me today for another episode of my series, Managing Self, where I'll share with you some stories of how I manage myself dealing with multiple sclerosis for the past 20 years and how I continue to being rather successful, in my opinion. Let's start with a couple of quotes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said that shallow men believe in luck, strong men believe in cause and effect. He also said, life is a perpetual instruction in cause and effect. Perpetual. Perpetual means never ending or changing. So, with that in mind, the emphasis on perpetual, the emphasis on cause and effect, I just want to state that pretty much as always, I'm a happiness junkie. I like being in a happy state. I do focus on happiness daily, like I said earlier, or in previous episodes. But I've never changed my story. I get my happiness from staying fit. Involving myself in activities with family and friends, and basically just having a lot of fun, and usually eating good food and good times like that. So. I focus on happiness daily. Pretty much all the time. And I say, why not focus on being happy all the time? I could pretend and say that I don't care about being happy, but that's a lie. See, not only do I want to be happy, because I know that cause. I know it would foster, my happiness would foster a more stress-less me. And me having less stress would have a correlating effect, which would be less of a chance of experiencing an MS flare-up, also known as an exacerbation. Understand, my constant quest for happiness is actually 100% health related. Although many outsiders looking in, or rather looking at my life, they may interpret my drive as superficial, largely based upon what it looks like, from the outside. But I guess more than I get in touch with just who I am, I realize that I don't have to be squeamish or just simply uncomfortable when someone says to me or gives me a compliment. And to everyone listening, I want to put out there to encourage you all to let's change our mindset to embrace gratitude. You get a compliment. I know how we don't like hearing. I mean, generally, we don't like to hear in general. But you look so good. But why? I know it was. I know that in the past I've sometimes gotten ticked off to some degree, especially when I was like fighting my damnedest to not look half as pathetic as I was feeling. But instead of blurting out some 4-letter expletive, when I got that, but you look so good. Why? How was that? Before saying something that I would regret saying, I pause in a thought, and usually I try to think. Something that we should all try to do at all times, think. And I would just kind of say to myself, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? This person, they're seeing the outside, and they don't know the the stuff that's going on behind the closed doors, or shall I say behind the scenes. So, when I when I encounter with a situation like this, I just, I stop and pause and go, okay, what can I learn from this? And move on. Now, 9 years ago, July 2008. Yeah, that's correct. I looked pretty awesome. I'll say, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I looked pretty darn awesome. I had worked out and dieted, and I had to achieve what I considered a pretty picture perfect figure competition body. I had achieved pretty good. I won't say perfect. There's always room for improvement. So I just want to say that I did. I had achieved the symmetry that I was expecting to achieve. I had ideal body fat composition, probably about, I don't know what it is right now, probably about 5 or 6%. I remember hitting the stage. I had bouncy, elegant locks of hair. Despite the steamy, balmy weather in Las Vegas at the time, and I even had like movie star a makeup job done, by the professionals backstage. But everything looked good. Everything was looking so great. But unfortunately, things just things fell into place that day. All that was good, but unfortunately, just as they fell into place, they also fell apart. My custom-made bikini, laced with rhinestones, just enough to give you you need sunglasses to wear it. Some people would. It sparkled. It sparkled, I'd say, in perfect harmony with my faux diamond tennis bracelets and my chandelier earrings. All costume jewelry. My stage performance, it was I guess the presence. The presence was exaggerated. Everything was sort of over the top. I tell people who've never been to one of these competitions is to kind of picture this. Picture a Miss America beauty pageant with the contestants in clear high heels and a very compressed evening gown. Now, when I say compressed, I mean at most the fabric that I was wearing was probably no more than 25% of what those gowns are made of. But the sexy element was, I'd say, beyond measure, considering how much skin we had revealed. And the fit of our bikinis, like, just accentuated every sculpted feminine muscle, all tanned and glistening, like I said, all in symmetrical beauty. It wasn't just me that looked good. We all looked good that weekend. Now, that weekend, I was, I guess, falsely accused of being drunk because of the drunken, stupor with which I was maneuvering or not maneuvering. Nothing was graceful about it. I recall I barely made it across the competition stage, and I remember, likewise, I remember traveling on foot, down the Vegas Strip. Me and my husband. It was about, I couldn't get more than 3 feet without having to take a break. Literally go inside a shop and get some cool air. Or just, my legs weren't cooperating with me. And yet, I looked really good, in some opinion. My late husband, he thought I looked pretty good. So, it was funny because, even with my leather gloves and my halter top and my sandals and shorts that make Daisy Duke blush, I look pretty good. But it didn't make sense to some. Why does she have on this stuff but she's wearing the gloves? Is she hot? Is she cold? What's going on? Well, in my head I'm going, well, that's what I'm thinking, the same thing. What's going on? I know what was going on. MS was going on, and it's that the invisible illness is that, pardon me, the invisible challenges that others can't see, that's difficult to explain. Now, when I hear it, but you look so good, or if I hear any other compliment, I don't try to overanalyze it. I used to. I don't get nervous, oh gosh, what am I going to say in response to that? I don't do that anymore. Instead of that, I just humbly say thank you, and I'm conscious that my verbal cues. I know people are looking. They're like, okay, well, people are always watching. I've realized that. I learned that from the stage of competing. The judges are always watching your every move. But I've noticed that people, in general, the general population, people are watching you. So if someone gives me a compliment, I say thank you. But also, I'm conscious that any verbal cues that I give, they're in line with my thank you. So I don't say thank you and then give a snarl. I'll say thank you, and I'll give a smile. I mean, I've learned a smile goes a really, really long way. So, that's kind of, again, how I handle a compliment. And as I said earlier, I like to be happy. I don't know anyone who does not like to be happy. I know that I'm happy when I do things that I love. These things that I love include food. I like to eat. I like to eat a lot of good food, decadent food, healthy food. I like food. I love food. I love fitness. Somebody call me a fitness buff. Yeah, I do work out more than the average person. I'd say average maybe 5 times a week. And they're not short workouts. They're long, but I think they're longer because I'm working out very deliberately. And I know that I can't, it's not wise for me to work out at a rush pace where my muscles will get fatigued and I'll risk falling or, getting overheated. And we all know what happens then, overheating, MS exacerbation. So I work out pretty deliberately. I have fun while I'm doing it. And yeah, I even stop at the cafe and have food. We have great food in our gym's cafe. So, I'm happy when I'm doing the things that I love. And everybody knows that I'm happy in the gym. I did these things before. I got my MS diagnosis. I did these things with MS and after MS. I guess with and after, I still have MS. It hasn't gone anywhere, not that I know of. But my point is that I was happy doing these things, and I'm still happy doing these things. And one thing that I try to encourage to others is, you can live. Don't pretend that you're stuck with anything. Don't say, well, I'm stuck with this, and just don't do anything to be happy, because I know that I'm happy doing the things that I love, and I tell other people, and I encourage you guys listening today to ask yourself, aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth giving yourself the gift of a happy life? I know that I am. I most certainly am. Like I said a couple weeks ago in a program, why wait to die? While I'm here on this earth living, I want to be happy. And I'm not going to just sit around and just wait to die and just perish and not have fun. Dawn Melanie, 1972 through whatever date that end date is. In the meantime, I want to fill that dash with a lot of happy events, occurrences, and things like that. When I say why wait to die, I mean it. Why wait to die? Now, when I say it, I hear it. I can hear myself saying that, and I'm listening to myself, consciously listening to myself, going, okay, really, what can I do to increase my happiness? What am I able to do to increase my happiness? Anything that I can. It may not be skydiving. I haven't done that yet. I probably will never, but I might. Something that I can do. To kind of beef up that, from birth to end. What can I do? What can I do myself? How can I manage myself? What can I do? I can take care of myself. I can take care of myself, and I encourage each of you out there listening to do the same thing. I don't have to feel guilty about taking care of myself, make myself a priority. I don't. So I believe I did at one point, but why? I'm worth it. I don't consider myself an optimist or a pessimist. I say I'm more of a realist, because over my almost 46 years of life, I've come to terms that I've accepted the good things that life has to offer me. Which is quite abundant. I must say, I'm blessed, no doubt. But I've also accepted some negative things that has occurred in my life. And most of these are related to MS. And that's just over the past 20 years. And some of those things I'm talking about are blindness, the deafness, the drop foot, the stuttering speech, the intentional tremors, the shaky hands, the balance problem, all this sort of thing like that. And most of these things that have occurred, these negative things have actually only lasted temporarily. But unfortunately, temporary was not the verdict of all of my MS exacerbations. To this day, I still can't detect or really feel or appreciate softness, including a cotton ball or even my mink stole. And my hands still hurt like heck when they come in contact with water, being either cool, cold, hot, or warm. They hurt. Basically, everything to me pretty much feels like sandpaper, just kind of different grades. Rough, rougher, and roughest. Okay, everybody, let's have fun. Basically, I want everybody to make time to have fun. Don't make excuses up, or don't be engulfed by an excuse of why you can't have fun. But instead, listen to yourselves and tell yourself why you should be having fun, and ask yourself, how can you be having fun? More fun than you are now, or maybe as much fun as you are now. But my point is to think these positive words of how you should have fun, because you deserve it. And speak those words. Words. I believe words have power. Oftentimes, they often lead to, I'd say sometimes, a self-fulfilling outcome, or words that we speak. I'd say engage yourself in less self-deprecating humor, and that's something that I know that I'm guilty of. I know how hard it is not to give in to making a mockery sometimes of yourself, knowing that it's easier to laugh than to cry, which you probably want to do more times than not, especially when onlookers look at you and they don't understand the half of what you're going through. I myself, I do know personally how this feels. Again, but you look so good, and you hear that, and you kind of, some people maybe want to like just punch them in the jaw or something like that. But that's when I try to employ my 5-second rule, and I don't do anything brash. But I start my 5, 4, and pretty much before my countdown has lapsed, I realized that what I heard wasn't really an intentional scathing remark. And it wasn't harsh, abusive criticism, but it was actually pretty much simply factual. When I wear an LBD, little black dress, or with one of my red dresses wears me, as my mama says, well, I look pretty good, or it looks favorable. Let's just say it looks favorable, and I guess a person's comments at that point in time was something that was just factual. The comment they made at that time. Okay, observation. I was looking good, or I looked good, but how was I feeling at that time? Maybe just as good as I looked, or maybe not. But nonetheless, I can't let my panties get all bunched up about it, because they only made a comment about what they saw on the external. All I know is, once they said something, they have possibly to their dismay, they've possibly opened up the doors for me to barge in with my explaining my past 20 years with multiple sclerosis, managing myself, with the stuff they don't see, living with this unpredictable, degenerative neurological disease, multiple sclerosis, and it kind of explains in as brief a synopsis as I can that MS pretty much writes a unique story daily. Every day is a new story, and it's new for each and every one of us with MS. Some people say don't ask, don't tell. Well, I believe it's just the opposite. Ask, and I'll tell. I'll explain in great detail. If someone doesn't know about MS or doesn't quite understand my situation, I'll be more than happy to explain to them what I'm going through today and what I've been going through for the past 20 years. So, like I said, open the door, let me in. and I'm going to barge through there. I'll choose my words wisely. I'll choose my words deliberately. Trying to be as informative as I can, and obviously telling the person to whom I'm speaking with, letting them know that I am sincere, and that these challenges that I myself go through, that many of you listening go through as well, is very, very dear to my heart. I guess the words, I talked about the self-deprecating humor. Instead, when I talk about MS and challenges like that, and my situation, I want people to understand as much as they can. So the words, like I said, words are powerful. And see, Yehuda Berg, B-E-R-G, said that words are singularly the most powerful force available to humanity. We can choose to use this force constructively with words of encouragement, or destructively using words of despair. Words have energy and power with the ability to help, to heal, to hinder, to hurt, to harm, to humiliate, and to humble. Pretty powerful, I think. And I think it's very true as well. So that's why I encourage you all to, I know I use my words, try to use my words sparingly and effectively. And I don't say things I don't mean. So that's one aspect of managing myself, is trying to utilize positive words instead of negative ones to, again, promote my health and my happiness and my stress-less existence with or without MS. What an absolutely wonderful weekend I had last weekend. It's like the days of old, my collegiate days, and basically, wake up on a Saturday kind of nonchalantly, or no alarms going off, but wake up, then go have brunch at a cute location, like a little diner or something like that. Back then I was with my first boyfriend, and last Saturday it was with my husband. We were sitting at our table, just looking out at the passersby, and I apparently had my head down because I was really enjoying my pesto chicken quinoa bowl. And my husband exclaims, "Oh man, you missed it!" Then he starts laughing almost uncontrollably, kind of like, I was like, "Oh, is this the pseudo bulbar effect, where you laugh uncontrollably or cry uncontrollably?" But I break in with, like, what was out there? What did I miss? Was it that hilarious? He then replied, "No." Not laughing at what it was, but laughing at the fact that for the moment I found myself reaching for the remote and pressing rewind. I was like, okay, wow, that's serious. It doesn't work like that, honey. Nothing. That's not how any of it works. What I'm gonna challenge you all to this week, for all of you listening, one thing I want you to be is happy. And I want you to kind of embrace the happiest times that you can. Go ahead and sit down, think about it, mental, maybe you want to jot it down, but think about the happiest times you were, like, ever. Those times maybe before you were ever afflicted with multiple sclerosis. It may be right now, right now. I know you can't just make it all appear or be in a situation again right now. However, you can think about it and reflect upon it, and think of just how happy you felt back then. That being said, I'll share with you the happiest moments of my life, and that was definitely probably it was definitely working. I was working in corporate America, public accountant, Big Six accounting, finance manager, Fortune 500 company, audit consultant, international traveling, all that kind of stuff. I was pretty happy, The other happiest time of my life was when I was competing on the bodybuilding figure stage. These are both things that I did before and during my battling of multiple sclerosis. So today I can't work like I used to. I have MS fatigue pretty significantly. And of course, there's cog fog that sets in, which will prevent me from being pretty effective, or nowhere near as effective as I was in the past. But as far as competing, I have successfully competed 10 years with multiple sclerosis. No one knew, or very few people knew. And my last show was actually 6 years ago to this day. And that was a pretty great feeling, because I competed on stage that time and I won. And it was the first time that I had shared publicly that I have MS. And it was kind of, I guess, kind of had to tell people, or I felt obligated to tell people, because they're like, "What's up with the cane?" And well, I had the cane because my walking stability were being compromised at that point. So, these are times that I was happy, and I was like, "Oh, okay, now I get it." If I live in the past, where, if I go, "Oh man, I was happy back then, and I can't do that anymore," or "I'm not doing that now." And if I'm staying in the past and just staying there, and I think that I can't have that again, or it's out of reach, I think I'm going to be subjected to being depressed. If I say, I did this and I'm no longer to do, or no, I'm no longer capable of doing that, that might lead to some really negative vibes. I also know that if I'm worried about the future, for instance, what if I can't walk in 3 years? What if I can't, do this or do that? The anxiety from that would stress me out. I know it would. So I don't want to say I don't care about anything, but I know that me worrying about something that may happen or may not happen in the future is kind of senseless. It's not going to promote my health. It's going to probably be a detriment to my health. That being said, I know that if I live in the present, live in the present, savor the moment, savor the present, I'm pretty sure that contentment will emanate. I've started writing daily, writing down 3 things that I'm thankful for. And it's okay if you write down, repeat things that you're grateful for, day after day, because I know that health always makes my list. So again, I just want to encourage you as to take efforts to be happy, take control of your life, and have fun, and make time for yourself, and make yourself a priority. Manage yourself, and like I said, you're worth it. This is Dawn Melanie. I thank you for listening this week, and I do hope you'll join me next week for another episode of Managing Self. Thank you, and have a blessed week.